So it was about freshman year, and as you do when you're a freshman, you begin to delve into the land of liquor. And when you're a freshman, you have some pretty limited access to liquor. And so we typically had two options when it came to getting our filthy fucking paws on some of the silly syrup. So option one was this Korean convenience store that was like a town over, and the dude had a tendency not to card. But he also had like a super small supply, and sometimes we just couldn't go about that route because his brother didn't want to, and we're freshmen carless bums at this point. And so if he doesn't really want to do the run, if he doesn't want to do the run, we're pretty shit out of luck at that point. Also had a trusted adult that I knew who I trusted to get their hands on some of the liquor for us. However, that resource that particular night was not available, so we were left with the ambition for alcohol with absolutely no way of getting it. Knowing the fact that we couldn't get our hands on any of this liquor made us even thirstier. So thirsty because it wasn't often that Mike's parents were out of the house, and how the house was laid out, there was just about 0% chance we were sneaking by any bottles through his parents' house. So the fact that they weren't home really quelled our thirst to the next level. I don't think I used that word correctly, but who's watching this shit? So we huddled around the map like a cheap Indian heist movie, and we started discussing our limited options. And our options were so limited that the only one that presented itself was to take the bus to the closest town. Now, Mike didn't live in a conventional neighborhood. It was kind of tucked off into the back, and the terrain was incredibly hilly, and the bus stop wasn't but 2 miles up the road. And at this point in my life, I was severely out of shape, and 2 miles is quite the distance to be walking in the cold and walking up and down hills. However, my great thirst was greater than any desire I had not to walk. Now, the next part of the journey also wasn't particularly exciting because once we actually got on the bus, this bus was free for all of us, and so that means the crackheads could join us if they wanted to, and more often than not, they did. This was also during the winter time, so it was fucking dark out by 5 o'clock, and these guys were out in full mass. However, despite the arduous journey to the bus itself, it wasn't too bad this time around. There were tweakers, however, they generally kept to themselves on this particular bus ride. I'll have to make a story about some of the not as lucky encounters, I suppose you could say, that I had on that public bus. So we get off this bus, and it's cold as fuck outside, and that's kind of on me at that point because I knew it was winter, and I was wearing a thin-ass coat, but it was one of those drip-over functionality type of moments, so I can't really complain all that much. The walk from the bus stop to the store really wasn't too horrendous. It was only a couple blocks. However, once we actually get to the store, it dawns upon both of us that we had not planned past this point. So once you're in the store as a minor trying to acquire alcohol, you only have a few options at that point. You can either A, walk out with it, B, try to get past the register and pray to Jehovah that they're not going to card you, or you could abandon ship. Abandoning ship obviously was not an option at this point, given we had made the treacherous journey. However, blatantly stealing it and running out also wasn't really on the books considering how many cameras they had. Not only that, there's like a million fucking Facebook groups around that area, and stores were known to put fucking people's pictures on full blast, and like companies would go on these Facebook groups so parents could find if their kids are stealing, or just putting like a public notice out there. And my family was also a part of these public watch groups, and so I was thinking to myself, well, fuck, I don't really care if my face is plastered here. I don't live in this town, but I don't want it getting back to my parents, so I didn't really fucking consider that option. So after moseying around the store and chatting about my options with my accomplished Michael, yeah, I was with Michael from GTA 5, you think this shit would have been a bit easier. But anyways, me and Mike, we cooked upon a plan that was sure to work. I've looked like a full-grown man with a 401k since the ripe age of 13 years old. I've had a beard on my face, and there have been times in the past where I have attempted to purchase illicit goods, and it was successful. This was not one of those times. So I decided to grab 2 bottles of wine. I grabbed a bouquet of flowers, and I grabbed some lovey-dovey chocolates, and I was like, they're not gonna card a man gonna go riz up his wife. They could never do that. And I didn't even go through, the traditional grocery lines. I went through self-checkout because I believe that would up my chances greatly of them not giving a fuck. So I come through the self-checkout, I start scanning my stuff, and in hindsight, honestly, I could have probably just got away without scanning the items and left and went on my merry way. That's what I should have done. However, I still wanted to, not steal it. I actually really didn't care about that. I just didn't want to get caught. But so I scanned the wine, and as it does, the little light on top of the self checkout station starts whirring, and then this fucking big ass Discord mod looking guy comes up, and he's like, "Oh, buying alcohol? Yeah. Let me see your ID real quick." And so I was like, "Fuck!" And so I started hitting the old pat my pockets, acting like, "Oh, fuck, dude. Forgot my wallet in the car. Can you hold this shit right here while I go grab my wallet? I need to pay for this, man. My wife needs to get rizzed up." And he was like, "Yeah, man, no problem." And so I was like, "All right, I'll be right back." And then I walk out and I just don't come back in. And then we don't get the liquor. We considered going to Walmart and attempting the same fugazi, but once we got to Walmart, all of the liquor was behind glass, and even the beer and shit. Like this Walmart particularly had a very bad stealing problem. I wonder why, but so everything was locked behind glass and counters and shit, and you were gonna get carded before they'd even let you put your fucking hands on it. So that wasn't an option. And at this point, we just cut our losses and decide that we're gonna be thirsty, and so we just buy some goodies at that Walmart. I think I got like a half-gallon of chocolate milk, my fat ass, which with all the walking we were doing and me carrying around this tremendous amount of weight on my skeleton probably wasn't a good idea. Because I remember by the time I got back to his house, I was feeling kinda fucking sick. And he also got donuts. Because, if we can't enjoy liquor, we might as well fatten ourselves out a little bit and just be degenerate somehow else. But I remember chocolate milk and donuts and miles of incline walking, not a combo you want to be experiencing in your civilian attire or even work gym attire. Like, you just don't want to be fucking. That's just a bad combo, man. It's just a bad combo. So, yeah, moral of the story is sometimes you get them and sometimes you get got. And this time we got. Uh, but yeah, if you made it this far and are actually enjoying the content, smack that like button like it stole your Fruit Loops. No, thanks.